home sales increase in the month of August. I'll tell you the reasons why coming up in this video, guys. I'm Ryan McMillan, a local real estate agent here in Vancouver. I help people buy and sell real estate. If you're interested in the process, go down in the description, hit the link, book a call in with me. I'd love to strategize with you and figure out your next move. If you're new to the channel, guys, please go down here, hit the subscribe button, share the videos, like the videos. All that really helps out the channel. So coming up next, guys, we're going to break it all down. What happened in the August market? Little update for you guys on the other side. So sales for the month of August, we see a 2.9% increase year over year for the month of August. So what does that mean? Well, we're still quite a bit lower with the 10-year seasonal average, 19% lower, but we've also seen a decrease in pricing, a decrease that with sellers realizing we might have to, drop our prices a little more to align with buyers to get buyers, quote unquote, off the sidelines. You've heard that a lot. Buyers on the sidelines, buyers are, buyers' confidence. And, this year was off to a crazy slow start for a lot of reasons. We won't get into it too much, but, the U.S. uncertainty, the tariffs, a federal election, interest rates continuing to lower. People want to see, where is that floor going to be? And then, recently we've had a few they haven't moved the interest rates. They've been stagnant. There's another rate announcement coming up at the end of this month. But so people kind of got a little more of an idea of kind of where they're sitting financially, right? So, and then you look at where we are price wise, there has been a decrease in home prices as well. And that's why you've seen maybe an uptick a little bit with the sales transactions. So just to give you guys an idea, we're going to jump into stats a little bit, but I want to break it down to what this means as a buyer. You've seen this uptick. Now you're seeing we're jumping into the fall market, historically the second busiest market in real estate. So what does this mean as a buyer if you're seeing this uptick in sales and the inventory maybe slowly starting to shrink? Now, guys, I want to just let you guys know, I don't think that this market's going to just, overnight change. We are in a market that you're going to see slowly kind of be where we're at for the next, I would say minimum 18 months. And the reason why I'm not going to really predict more, because you got to have a crystal ball if you're really going to start jumping 4 or 5 years down the road. If we look back at 21 and 22 and you want to tell me what 2025 was going to look like, you would be a pretty smart person, but so that's tough to really forecast that far into the future. That being said, if you're a buyer and you're starting to see even some uptick in sales because buyers and sellers are now kind of aligning a little closer together, that can start kind of getting rid of some of the inventory that has been stacking up and stacking up and stacking up. So on the MLS, we are, when we look at the 10-year seasonal average, we are still 36% higher than a 10-year seasonal average for inventory. That being said, there was just about a 1% increase of new listings in August that came into play. So, not this crazy steady increase for the month of August, but see the 10-year seasonal average. Yeah, we are way above. You're pushing 40%. That being said, as we see prices decrease and buyers coming back a little more, that can sort of start now eliminating some of that inventory and start getting rid of some of this inventory. Now, what does that mean as a buyer? Well, it can mean a couple of things. If you're a first-time buyer, it can mean a few things. You're really trying to get in. You're looking for this great deal. I've said this in previous videos, this is a great time to be a first-time buyer. Not only are the incentives, the government incentives to get in as a first-time buyer, but obviously your choice of inventory, the array of just vast amounts of inventory to choose from, you feel like you can take your time, and you feel like you can take your time forever. I don't really need to jump in right now. You know what? My rent's low right now. Maybe I'll jump in later. And the only problem with that, I would say, is that, a couple of things. One is that as this inventory shrinks, the good deals that are out there right now, those ones can now disappear. And once where you could have got in, now maybe you have to increase that price, or get into something maybe you have to settle for. Right now is your opportunity to get all your ducks in a row, get that pre-approval done, just get everything ready to go. So when you're ready to go, know that I'm not going to try to time the market out, even if I think it's going to go down a little bit more. If you're an end user, if you're looking at this as, this is a property where I want to live in, I want to move in, and I'm okay to sit here for the next 5 years. Whatever happens, the market goes down, goes up. That's fine. I'm getting a place that I really want, checks all the boxes, that I'm getting in with no competition, nobody else offering on this place. That can change, and that can change quick. Not that we're going to see this explosion that we saw obviously a few years ago, but even if it's a little bit more competition, even if it's a little less inventory, it can just, just something to think about as a buyer, that can just alter maybe some people's, ability to get into this market. So just something to think about. But, it's interesting to see the uptick, but it's this direct correlation to where prices have now, you've seen the decline, and they're going to continue to slowly decline as more sellers realize, I need to drop my pricing, I need to come down in order to align with buyers. And as you see, it's always a snowball effect. As you see other sellers dropping their prices, reducing your prices, you can't be left in the dust. If you are priced way too high, you need to come down, and you got to get down to that level as well if you want to move your property. And like I said, this is sort of the market we're going to be in the next year and a half, possibly 2 years. So, if you're just going to keep your property sitting at that price point, then, it will sit. I've talked to a couple colleagues, one recently in East Vancouver. They had a listing. They priced it very aggressively to really where the market is, where they figured, okay, we're going to get as many eyes on this property as we can. They had over a dozen viewings and 2 or 3 offers, one no subjects, and they got the deal done in 4 days. So it can happen in this type of market. Some weird things are happening. And really, the number one thing, it's coming down to where we're pricing our properties. Guys, I'm going to give you some statistics real quick here that just came out for the month of August to kind of give you an idea where we're heading into this fall market. So the MLS, the home price index, benchmark price for all residential properties in Metro Van is currently 1,150,000. This represents a 3.8% decrease over August 2024 and a 1.3% decrease month over month. Your detached market, we're looking at sales from August 2025 reached 575. That was a 13% increase recorded from August 2024. So a 13% increase year over year from August 2024. But when you look at pricing, uh, you are priced at 1,950,000, represents a 4.8% decrease year over year and a 1.2% decrease month over month. Jump into the condo market, 956 were sold in August 25, representing a 5.5% decrease compared to sales in August 24. So you saw a decrease in condos. So, again, guys, if you know about the condo market, it's really been a lot tougher for people. And again, pricing. It comes down to pricing. What are sellers willing to, you know, move their properties at, because there is an abundance of condos on the market. But your benchmark is 734,000, represents a 4.4% decrease year over year and a 1.3% decrease month over month. And finally, your townhomes, we're looking at similar. So 409 sold, 10% increase. So just a bit lower than your increase with detached, year over year. Benchmark 1,079,000, and this represents a 3.5% decrease year over year and a 1.8% decrease month over month. So you saw the biggest decline in the townhome pricing month over month. Just give you an idea where we are in this market. So, and real quick to recap, the beginning of this year, prices have seen a soft decrease by about 2% from the start of the year, and about a 1%, over a 1% month over month. So it just gives you an indication that sellers are willing to now lower prices, and that just takes time. And now we're seeing it, and then we've seen this uptick in the month of August. So will it continue? Will this continue going into the month of September, October, the fall market? Busier time of the year for real estate. So it's going to be an interesting next couple of months, guys. What do you guys think? Drop it in the comments. I want to hear what you guys think. What are you currently dealing with? Are you a seller right now that is dead in the water with your property, and you're trying to figure out why? Drop me a DM, shoot me a message. I love to hear from you guys. And again, if you guys are loving what you're watching, please make sure you go down and subscribe to the channel. Also, book a call with me. I'd love to talk real estate with you and figure out how I can help you as well. So, guys, that's it. I will see you guys on the next one.